There we go then, the end of match day number 3 of the US Tour. Manchester United do finish it after the draw with Everton as the Premier League Summer Series champions of the world. Obviously you'll never sing that. Does it matter? Not really. But I do think it's a positive that United have played 3 lots of Premier League opposition, because that's what we needed to be better at, and that's what we are going to be judged on ultimately. You can win trophies, you can win the FA Cup, you can win the League Cup. Obviously we're not going to win anything in Europe this year, but that would still result in Amorim losing his job. You have to be better in the league, so we've got to be better in the league. Now, I don't think it was quite as impressive as the previous 2 games, and for a few reasons. Firstly, the match started first 20 minutes or so quite positively, actually. There was really good signs. I think I'm going down a blind alley here. Hopefully I can get myself out. As I'm just leaving the stadium, it's all fences here, just blocking the path. I need to get that way. I don't know if I can. There was really positive signs in the first 20-25 minutes or so. Really enjoyed some of the one-touch football which we played. Really thought we looked dangerous. I liked how fluid that forward line was. Cunha popping up in the middle and on the right, and Mbeumo popping up on the left and in the middle. Bruno sort of playing off him a little bit. It wasn't the sort of the 2 with Bruno in the 10, which I thought maybe it would have been, and the sort of formation that we have discussed as a possible thing that United might revert to at some point this season. Those 2 as a bit of a double prong attack with Bruno being in a bit of a free role and then a midfield 2 in behind him. It wasn't that, which is a little bit disappointing because I was really hoping it would be that. But there was a lot of fluidity and it was impressive, and we looked capable, we looked dangerous. It looked like we were able to stick it on Everton. We was creating chances at will. Okay, the opener came from the penalty spot, but I thought we looked really good, and I feel like once Mbeumo gets up to match sharpness, because he's clearly not, that's probably going to be really fruitful for us in the final third. There was a few runs off the ball and ahead of the ball that were being made. There was one in particular where the ball came from the left-hand side into the centre of the pitch. Can't remember who was on the ball in the centre. And Mbeumo makes this run from the right wing across the front of the Everton defence, and it opened up a channel. I think it might have been Bruno, it might have been Cunha, I actually can't remember. And he plays the ball out to Ahmad, who's now on the right wing on his own, because Mbeumo has taken the defence away from him. And I said to Joe at the time, I like that. That is really intelligent movement, and that's the sort of movement that United have just not had in recent years. But it wasn't all rosy, and that ultimately didn't really result in as dangerous as it looked. We weren't getting the goals from that. We weren't putting the ball in the back of the net from that. We didn't look good on transition. Everton, when they were winning the ball, were getting up against our back 3 very easily. I've seen Ugarte get a little bit of shit for it. I also think Mainoo's got a little bit of a part to play in that as well. Them 2 as a pair weren't really locking down that midfield. The Everton attack was getting into our back line very easily. That's not good. You shouldn't be getting up against our defence that straightforward and that easily. But I also don't think it's just down to those 2 players. I think the wing-backs have to play a little bit of a part in this. The amount of space that we were asking that midfield to cover, if they missed one of their tackles, Everton were just in against the back 3. And then the back 3, they were being quite forceful and quite aggressive with their defending, which means if they missed, Everton was then going like 2v2 against our back line. Not a good position for us to be in. Maybe that's something that the manager spotted. Maybe that was one of the reasons why he's seen his arse a little bit, because he did look like a grumpy old bear towards the end of the game or after the game. But that's something that absolutely needs fixing, and that's something that absolutely has to be addressed before you go and play Arsenal in a couple of weeks. Because you put that sort of performance in against Arsenal, with the numbers and the quality that they attack in, you're going to get your arse handed to you. I also don't think we look very good at set plays. And I also didn't think we played out very well. So there's plenty to work on. And yeah, we've come away, we've won this tournament, we've performed okay. We haven't made a ton of changes. We definitely treated this a little bit more like sort of regular season Premier League matches than we normally do for a pre-season game. Like there wasn't 15 fucking subs at half time and that. But we've come away, no injuries for once in pre-season. We've managed to get some minutes, albeit just a half of football into Mbumo. Cunha looks good. We've still got the likes of Xerxes not seen, Mazraoui not seen, Martinez not seen, Onana not seen. So there's still some players to come back into the 11 that need minutes, that are going to feature in Premier League matches probably early in the season, that we haven't had a chance to get some match fitness in, that are going to require to get match fitness in. But we've had a busy tour. We've had even though we've had, should cross this road, make sure I can get away with it. Even though we've had, can you see the stadium? There you go. Nice stadium. Very nice stadium inside, actually. Even though we've had only 3 games, there's still quite a lot of travel. There hasn't been the commercial commitments that there normally is when the club are on tour. It's been a pretty casual and quite relaxed tour compared to some of the commercial commitments that there's been on other tours that I've been part of. When we get back to Manchester, they've got the game against Fiorentina and then like a full week before the first Arsenal game. There will still be pre-season style fitness and probably tactical understanding that the players are going to be working on. And that's a positive thing, and I think that will continue throughout August. I wouldn't expect the intensity to drop off in the slightest. After the game, they was doing another training session, and the players took fucking ages, nearly a full hour, to come back through. After the game finished, they went back out onto the pitch, and they got put through it again. And that's happened after every game. I don't know if they trained this morning, I have no idea, but I know that they've been getting smashed. And I know that they've been doing a lot of weights. They all look, to a man, in a lot better condition than they have in previous years. The fitness work that they've been doing, well, they've been doing it. Now, you can be the fittest players in the world, but if you don't defend at corners, and you're getting beat 1v1, and you can't play out from the back, and you don't put the ball in the back of the net, it don't fucking matter. Mo Farah's pretty fit, but he couldn't fucking run a central midfield, could he? So there does have to be a balance. But United in recent years have not been fit enough to play Premier League football. And we've not been fit enough to play the level of intensity that Ruben Amorim wants us to play. So the fact that everyone does look like they're in condition coming into the season right now, I think is a massive step forward to where we've been in recent years. But there's a long way to go. I think we're going to sign a striker, and all the talk seems to be pointing towards Benjamin Sesko, but it's not enough. And it might be greedy to demand that we sign a midfielder, but we might need it. We might need to fix the midfield, depending on how ambitious the club want to be going into this window. But yeah, there we go. That's pre-season done. I'm going to drop a 5 things we learned on the tour, possibly tomorrow. But cheers for all the comments and the subscribes and all the rest of that sort of stuff. And to everyone that I've seen and hung out with and all the rest of that out on the tour. Nice one. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.